Welcome back to the show, everyone. Of course, there are construction cranes all over the city, making our city grow. And that means lots of people are buying condominiums before they're even finished being built.
So our next guest is someone we like to call Condo Leo.
Like
How are you, Leo?
Hello, Leo. How are you, man?
How you guys doing?
So we're talking specifically about sort of buying before a building is done today, right?
There's a lot of hype on that, especially in the past. It was a big craze back in the days. You can see all the cranes now building them and finishing them off.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of things that people don't realize when they go into something like this, and there's a lot of little tips and tricks you can.
So buying pre-construction, I would be scared to do that because I like to see what I'm buying. So where do you begin with people who want to do this?
So first thing you're going to see is a piece of paper. So it's going to be your floor plan.
For $1 million.
$1 million, yeah, exactly.
Per square foot.
Exactly. So you got to be able to read that floor plan and kind of know what's going on within that piece of paper you're giving $50,000 deposit for.
Are pre-construction things usually a little bit less expensive than ones that are already up?
Yes and no. I mean, the theory is you buy at today's prices. When it's ready in 3 years, in general, in Vancouver, prices have gone up. So that's the allure. It's not a guarantee. I'm not promising.
Yeah, that's what people kind of
buy with the hope.
But some people really do prefer to buy new. I mean, that's part of the attraction, I think, for a lot of people is they want a place no one else has ever lived in.
Exactly. You're the first person to set foot in it. You've picked your colors, your flooring. You've picked all that stuff, and you walk into a home. It's almost like you custom built it yourself.
Do they usually have show suites for these kind of things where you can kind of get a feel for what they're doing?
They do. So in the show suites, a couple tips. When you walk in, you got to look out for things like the nice countertop, the nice flooring, the nice cabinets. Look for little stickers that say designer item, upgrade item, upgrade, because those start to run your costs up. And you envision yourself in this beautiful place, but if you don't pay the additional money for it, you move into it, you're like, why is my counter laminate?
So people have to know what the extras are.
Keep an eye out for that.
Understand that.
Yeah, and you can compare prices. Like if a developer's charging you $1,500 for the flooring, we'll go talk to a couple independent contractors and say, well, how much for this type of flooring? And you could actually save yourself.
Is there wiggle room when you're buying, buying pre-construction? I mean, can you actually massage the price a little bit?
Yes and no. If it's a brand new development that is just launching today, you're not going to see any movement on price, especially if there's a lineup down the street.
Right.
Good luck trying to negotiate.
Which is what we usually see with the marketing in Vancouver.
Exactly, but give that development, the people who lined up, let's say they bought the lowest price ones or the penthouse or something like that, give it a month or two, and then maybe the developer might do a price adjustment as well.
False Creek.
Okay, let's talk about some other things people need to know about. The contract, what is in it? What do you need to know?
The pre-construction contract is actually very simple. There's a lot of wording to it, but I find they're really laid out well for you. You have to, you give your deposit structure which is probably one of the main things you can negotiate. I always say the deposit structure, let's say it's 5% now, 5% in a year, 5% whenever. Sometimes I see wiggle room on that. As well as you might be able to sneak in a few upgrades now and then if you try to do something like that. Developers are starting to offer a lot of things like that nowadays, especially because of the HST. That's a lot of people are scared of. They got to offer a little other incentive.
A little carrot in there.
And what about the disclosure statement?
Disclosure statement. So when you sign your contract, you're supposed to be given this document called the disclosure statement, which is a thick document about, could be from here, could be like this.
Cures insomnia.
Exactly. You're supposed to be given this a reasonable amount of time before you write the contract. Normally, people have been given these when they signed the contract, which was a lot of what happened when a lot of people got out of their developments when they bought it at $350, and when they closed, they're like, hey, this is only going to be worth $300.
Right.
So they ended up getting out of it because they said I wasn't given the disclosure statement, which they were.
In a reasonable
So now you're supposed to be given it. It's got everything to do with the building in it. It's got the bylaws, it's got your maintenance fees, it's pretty much every intricate detail of the building.
Is that kind of like getting the minutes when you buy into a building that already exists?
Pretty much, yeah. It pretty much sets the foundation of what the building's going to be like for the first year anyways, and what the bylaws are going to start like, and it's strata, plans, everything like that. It pretty much has every single thing you can think of is in there.
I'm thinking, as you're saying this is where a realtor really comes in handy. Because you know the kind of stuff to look for, right? You know obviously everything's important, but you know those real key points.
Yeah, when I worked on developments back in the day, a lot of people would come into our showrooms and say, am I allowed to bring my realtor in? Or am I going to save money if I don't? And you're definitely allowed to bring a realtor in. A lot of companies, like all the marketing and development companies, they will work with realtors like that's what they do. That's how it drives
It's
the
But
business.
you
their
do see a lot of
benefit.
people that are going through and signing contracts without a realtor when
You
they're
do
buying.
see that. You know, technically the salesperson on site works for the developer. So
Yeah.
having your realtor there is not a bad thing. They know what to read in the minutes. They're going to go on the site where it's being built, and they're going to look at all the surrounding areas, being, well, what's going on here? Like they do
And
protect
tell you what to look for, which is good.
Yeah.
Now, what is the rescission period?
So the rescission period is when you sign your contract, the minute the developer accepts it, you go into what's called a rescission period. It's a 7-day rescission period. So if you started on a Monday and you sign the contract, developer accept it, you have 7 days, which is just like a subject removal when you're buying a resale, something that's already built.
Okay.
So you've got these 7 days to, again, look over the disclosure statement 1,000 times, go to the site, ask the sales team a million questions. You should do your due diligence before. You can also do it during. Just don't do it after.
This is the time you can still
Right.
freak out and back out.
Exactly, and you're supposed to have reasonable cause if you don't go through with it, but reasonable cause could be anything that
Can
you're
be
just
a
not
lot of
comfortable
stuff.
financing.
And what are
things
the
like that.
benefits of buying a new place?
Benefits of buying new? I mean, there's a couple of great ones. Obviously, what we talked about earlier was you set foot into
yours.
it. No one else has stepped in it. You've customized it. It's ready to go.
Except for the drywall, there's carpet.
Exactly.
Yeah, but anyway. Yeah.
You picked your floor plan, you picked your floor, you picked your view. That's a lot of good things like that. Again, if you bought today's prices, hopefully in a couple of years, maybe that's a bit better for you. They are doing what's called builder capped rates. So a banker will be on site from one of the major banks, and they can hold rates for up to 36 months. So you can lock in now, and even if they go lower, I'm sure you could get the lower.
Now, you always bring some great pictures with you for us to look at. What are we doing? We always play a little game. What are we doing today?
This is our spot the MLS mistake.
Exactly. So we're gonna look at some photos, and you're gonna try to pick what's wrong with them.
Okay.
They're not as easy.
I hope
And
there's
these are
nobody-
off MLS, these ones?
This current one's right off MLS.
Okay, I hope there's nobody creepy on the couch
So this just
time.
sold recently. So do you see?
Too dark, Leo.
Too dark, yes.
I can't see the apartment, A.
Can you see the BC Place
B.
roof?
Oh yeah, it's really old. Oh wow.
Construction is going to be there.
Well,
Wait
that
a
is
second,
not the
that's
view.
2 years old.
That is
a
not the
year.
view right now. You
and
have
the
the giant
new BC
spider.
Places is how much higher than this?
It's, I mean, those arms are going. You see that building right in the back, right there? It goes
Yeah.
higher than that. Like,
Well,
that
more
is
than
not your
anything,
view.
you just know that a building will have gone through some trauma over the preceding year.
Exactly.
Since that picture was
Okay, let's
taken.
look at the next one.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that one.
They're a bit more subtle this time.
I know, you're
Trying to
testing
trick us. Well, it's a
Okay.
mess.
Oh, it's a disaster.
It's a total disaster.
A bit easier on this one.
Yeah, I think it's just too messy, too cluttered.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you gotta declutter
I
that.
was looking for the key word.
I mean, maybe it's a rented place, but still, like, just throw through a few things in the
Wow,
cupboards while you
I
take the
just
picture.
have OCD and I can't deal with looking at that picture. I would never look at that place.
Exactly.
I would see it as
That's
a mess.
the problem. It's if you're an owner and you see that picture on your listing, you just tell them to change it or get rid of it or
Yeah, it's
something.
better to
Yeah.
have a picture of the exterior than
I know
the
you
building
have children.
than that.
I know you're busy, but
Yeah.
Clean the counter.
Clean the
okay, let's
counter
look at the
every now
next one. Ew, I don't like looking at other people's bathrooms.
It's
There's a person reflected in the
Yeah,
thing, and
that
that's
is
creepy.
weird.
You
What
don't
are
like
they
looking at other
doing?
bathrooms. You don't like looking at the creepy shadow in the background
No,
of the video.
bathrooms with creepy shadows are
Can we
really
see that one
bad.
again? 'Cause that's just a
Candyman
really-
movie or something?
How hard is it for people to get a proper photographer?
It's a bad photo.
It looks like it's, yeah, maybe it was a cell phone picture again or something like
Yeah.
that. So it's,
Love it.
again, if you're an owner and you see this, like, you gotta
At
ask
least they're
your.
wearing clothes.
That's good.
That's the
Better than
plus.
the last one we saw.
We'll have to blow that up and see later on. Leo, thank you.
Leo,
Always
thank
a pleasure,
you. You
man.
can go to
Appreciate it.
Condo Leo's website to find out more information about all the tips and tricks we were talking about today.